And as I was saying, the reason why I think it's really important for us to intentionally create this reset, this respite for resilient leaders is because when the stress level is high, our brain function is compromised. And science lets us know our field of vision, our focus narrows, right? When you can only like think about, okay, what do I need to survive? Yeah. And our prefrontal cortex, that planning, thinking, strategic part, that part is also impeded. And memory synapses are impeded. So we can't recall things as easily. We're like, what am I doing here? I mean, I get that because I'm also perimenopausal and sometimes I experience brain fog, but if there is stress on top of that, that compounds the reduction of our brain's natural, innate, doesn't need a data center, doesn't need NVIDIA chips, right? Our brains are amazing, right? And we don't fully get to utilize that. And I really believe in helping women and marginalized leaders leverage this amazing innate capacity to lead, to advocate, to continue to navigate all the things. Yeah. So that's my spiel. And I intentionally designed this first the next 20 or 25 minutes or so to be content free. We're not going to try to hustle. We're not going to try to figure things out. We're just going to let this be easy and relaxing. And I'm going to keep it open, nice and open, so that everyone can get something that they want. And all I ask is that, yeah, you stay where you are. Don't go driving. And if anyone is driving on this call, please pull over. Um, and I'm just going to invite you to sit back or lie back uh, and relax. Be where you can be comfortable for the next 20 minutes or so. And if you feel comfortable, I am going to invite you to close your eyes. And if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, that's okay. What you can do is simply soften and diffuse your eyes focus. You see what I'm doing or not? You don't have to see it. If you've already closed your eyes, that's okay. Yeah. And so I just invite everyone to get really comfortable where they are. That's right. Give your neck a little shimmy, maybe your shoulders too. And imagine making yourself 5% more comfortable wherever you are. Now, as you take that deep breath in, I invite you to just notice the shape and the sound of that inhale. And as you exhale, exhale twice as long. And as you continue to breathe deep, nice and comfortable, exhaling twice as long. At the end of the next exhale, I'm going to invite you to just linger for a moment in that still point right before you breathe in again. Inhaling deep, exhaling twice as long. And then for a moment, lingering on that still point. And I like to imagine that I can bring that stillness. I can bring it and I can breathe it inside. And as you continue to breathe comfortably and deeply, just imagine each breath bringing more comfort, more relaxation to wherever more comfort, more relaxation can be used. And now I'm going to invite everyone as you continue to breathe comfortably and deeply and feeling more comfortable with each breath. Just notice where your hands are. And if you can, just gently bring them to your lap, face down. And as you continue to breathe comfortably and feeling more comfortable with each breath, I'm going to invite you to simply bring your attention to one hand. It could be your right hand, it could be your left hand, it doesn't matter. Once you've brought your attention to that one hand, just continue to breathe. And now just notice everything you notice in that hand. The sensations at the tips of your fingers, maybe in your palm, in your wrist. And in a moment, I'm going to invite you to consciously and slowly start moving that one hand, one microscopic movement at a time, one small movement at a time. And now, as you start to move that hand very slowly and gently, one small movement at a time, I'm going to invite you to consciously bring all your attention to the sensations in that hand. Perhaps you feel the tingling or aliveness at the tips of your fingers, or an interesting sensation in your wrist. And as you consciously bring all of your attention to that hand, let your unconscious mind do something more interesting. Let your unconscious mind gather moments of relief and comfort and relaxation as you consciously bring your attention to that hand, rising slowly and gently, and your unconscious mind gathers resources and moments associated with comfort, relaxation, as you consciously notice that hand moving up. And your unconscious goes through the files and finds more moments of deep relaxation and comfort. And let your unconscious mind surprise you with what it finds. And now, as you consciously start to move that hand down, back down, slowly and gently, simply bring all of your attention to the sensation as it moves down. Let your unconscious mind make connections to the faces, spaces, places where you can really use those moments of comfort, relaxation, and relief. And again, consciously noticing the hand as it moves down, the sensations in the tips of your fingers, in your wrists, and in your palm, as your unconscious mind does something even more interesting, connecting those moments of relief to the spaces, faces, and the places where you could really use that comfort. And when your hand reaches back down to your lap, allow that comfort to go deeper. Allow yourself to go deeper into relief and relaxation. And while you go about your day or while you go to sleep, your unconscious mind will continue to integrate, updating files that need to be updated, deleting old files that can be let go of. And as you sleep, even deeply integrating more comfort, more relief, more relaxation. And as you breathe, just allow yourself to go a little deeper into this relief, this relaxation. And I don't know how you like to experience relief and relaxation. For some people, it's like a kind of warmth. For some people, it's a kind of lightness. And for some others, it's just a kind of stillness, or even a particular frequency of vibration. And maybe it's something very unique for you. So as your unconscious mind continues to integrate, notice how you like to experience relief, deep comfort, and relaxation. And as you continue to breathe, feeling more comfortable, in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. And with each number, I invite you to simply imagine every muscle in your body relaxing and letting go. As your mind expands upward and outward, whichever way feels good for you. 1, feeling every muscle in your body relaxing. 2, your mind expanding upward or outward. 3, feeling that relaxation from the top of your head, down your neck, your shoulders, your torso, your legs. 4, as your mind continues to expand. 5, upward or outward. 6, accessing all of your resources. 7, accessing who you really are. 8, as your mind continues to expand. 9, every muscle relaxing more and more. 10, expanding and relaxing. And now being open to ideas of comfort. Allow your unconscious mind to remind you, for you to be surprised by the unconscious mind, perhaps suggesting new insights related to comfort, feeling relaxed. And as you continue to breathe, feeling every muscle relaxing from head to toe, allow your unconscious mind to remind you of what's important to remember. And now, as you allow your unconscious mind to show you ideas, insights, resources, now I'm going to invite you to imagine a beautiful place in your mind's eye. And it can be beautiful, it can be gorgeous, in any way you like. A place that is of comfort, deep relaxation and relief for you. And for me, it's just a kind of stillness. And for you, it can be a place that you've been to, or a place that you can imagine. And as you continue to breathe, feeling more and more comfortable with each breath, I invite you to make that beautiful place as vivid as you possibly can, noticing what you see, hearing what you hear, sensing what you can sense. That's right. And as you can sense that relaxation and comfort, and as you really feel what it's like to be there, I'm going to invite you to slowly and gently press your thumb and forefinger together and hold it together as you feel that deep comfort and relaxation and holding it for 3, 2, 1, and gently letting go as another wave of relaxation moves through your body from top of your head down to your toe, and noticing how your mind can recall and have you experiencing that comfort on demand. And so one more time, as you vividly recall what it's like to be in this beautiful place of deep comfort and relaxation, noticing the sensory details. Perhaps there's a sound that you hear that's comforting. Perhaps there's something that you see or a sensation on your skin. And as you vividly recall feeling that deep comfort in this place, one more time, because your brain likes to learn with repetition, bring your thumb and forefinger together and hold it for 3, 2, 1, and gently letting go as another wave of relaxation moves from the top of your head down to the bottoms of your toes. And now, as you allow that neuroplasticity to do its thing, and as you feel deep comfort, just one more time to strengthen this neural pathway, I invite you to press your thumb and forefinger together and experiencing again that deep comfort, relaxation, and this beautiful place in your mind's eye. That's right. And feeling that deep comfort and noticing how easily it can be called back. And now gently releasing and letting go as another wave of deep comfort moves from the top of your head and bottom of your toes. And you will be able to recall what it's like to have that experience when you press this relief button together, your thumb and forefinger together. Now, as you continue to breathe and feeling even more comfortable with each breath, now I invite you to bring your attention and focus to your heart space. Neuroscientists lets us know there are thousands and thousands of nerves and neurons in the heart. It's another brain in the heart. And when you bring your attention to your heart space, what does the brain in your heart want you to remember? That's important to remember about this place of deep comfort and relaxation. And as you notice what the brain and the heart would want you to know, now bring that full attention and focus to your gut. Neuroscientists lets us know there are thousands and thousands of nerves there too, another brain in the gut. Now when you bring your attention to your gut, what does the brain in your gut would like you to know? And it's okay if it's something similar, and it's okay if something different. Maybe it's just an image, maybe it's just an inkling, but I trust your unconscious mind. And as you trust that unconscious mind and noticing what the brain and the gut would like you to know, now I invite you to bring your attention and focus to the brain in your head. What does the brain want you to remember? That's important to remember about deep comfort and relaxation. And trusting that unconscious mind and allowing it to integrate at its own pace as you continue to breathe and feeling comfortable. You might find yourself wanting to take a big stretch. And with a smile, whenever you are ready to come out of it, That's right. Just taking a big, nice stretch and with a smile. Whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. That's right. Maybe stretch the neck and the shoulders. That's right. I like to even think about my palms, spreading some love down my arms. Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining this experience. I'm really glad we have many of you here. Yeah. Yes, big smiles. And if you want to share with me what that was like in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, you're welcome. Yay. Thank you, Lizette.
It went by a lot faster than I expected.
It went by a lot faster.
I
Okay.
opened my eyes and it's almost 1:30.
Oh, time went by faster. Got it. Then you got it. Yeah. And yeah. Uh, at one point, my head felt heavy, almost like a headache. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. So, um, as everyone's just coming back to this conscious realm, right? And what we know from neuroscientists is that conscious mind is like 5% of our brain's actual capacity. And the unconscious mind is the vast 95%. It keeps us breathing, digesting, moving, gesticulating, dreaming, and experiencing our own body, and all the stuff that AI can never do, right? And so, if anyone wants to share what their experience was like, or if you have any questions for me about that experience, I'm more than happy to answer live.
Your voice is just the right voice for this. Very smooth and there, but it it felt like you were far away from where I was imagining the spaces and places, as you said, that I was thinking about myself and thinking about are important to me and that I find calming and relaxing, but at the same time, like instructing but not intrusive and very soft and smooth. And I feel like there are plenty of people who don't have the right voice for it. Your voice was, I don't know, it added to the relaxation, the softness in your voice, the smoothness of your voice added to the relaxation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Your voice is like butter, Lizette says. Wow, thank you. That's my compliment. And Melissa says the focus on one hand, so interesting, and agreed about your voice being perfect for this. And the pitch was perfect. Um, and so two things I want to share. Number one, what we did with the hand, when you consciously brought all of your attention to your hand, what you did was you activated an intelligence that is within you, and that intelligence is called interoceptive intelligence, right? When you can feel, what you can feel inside your gut, when you can feel your own hand from the inside out, right? It's interoceptive. And so that's another uh, intelligence system than just the cognitive, conscious intelligence system that we have, right? And it's so interesting, right? When you activate that interoceptive intelligence system, things just sort of recede into the background, and you feel the sense of being present in this moment. And there's like the background noise sort of settles down. Yeah. Um, and that's sort of, uh, the technology, if you will, of meditators, but it's also something that really can help anyone, even managers, professionals. I want to say another thing about the voice. I intentionally modulated my voice, and it's something that anyone can do. And in fact, when I coach my clients and they're like, oh, I have to have this high stakes conversation, and I think people are going to disagree, or, just anticipating conflict has me sort of like feeling tight and anxious. And what happens to our voice? It naturally goes to a higher pitch, right? I know I do it too. It all happens almost unconsciously. So something that I often coach my clients to do if they do have to, talk to a boss and say, hey, I think it's possible that there has been some misunderstanding here, or you want to address conflict head on, intentionally bring that pitch down. Yeah. Like turn the knob. Imagine there's a radio and just turn it down 2 notches. Yeah. And what happens is that human brains, we have oral neurons. We have neurons that are just dedicated to audio. And so when you modulate your voice, the other side's neurons fire up because that's how mirror neurons work, right? And just by modulating your voice, you're turning on other people's neurons, oral neurons. Yeah. And so that's something that is useful for self-advocacy as well. Thank you so much for the comments. Okay. Does anyone have questions? Uh, Happy to answer any questions people may have.
Do you have any guided sessions like this on your website or anywhere else? If I was having a stressful day and wanted to recreate, a similar experience where, or Spotify or I don't know, wherever you might have them.
Absolutely. I have a couple of these available on my podcast. Here's one, and then I have another one. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up and then I'm gonna share it. I in my coaching practice, I guide my clients through um, customized
Sure.
experiences. And so I have two on my podcast that are sort of um, thematic. I've created one. It's called Boundary Reset, when you want to create like a energetic boundary when you have to deal with difficult people. And then the second one, it's in the chat, is an extended version of the 3 brains. I mean, we talked about the heart having a brain, the gut having a brain, and then checking in with the head brain. Yeah. So yes. Thank you for
Thank
asking.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a podcast. I have a podcast. It's called Risky Conversations. And why? Because everything worthwhile is on the other side of a risky conversation. And sometimes when you have more agency over your brain, well, not sometimes, always, when you can manage your brain better, then you can engage in risky conversations better too. Yeah.
Just
Awesome.
a quick question about the unconscious mind. You talk about how kind of amazing it is, and there are a lot of research. How can we kind of tap into it more?
Tap into it more. Tell me more how you would like what kind of tap is
Yeah, so for
tapping into it?
example, a lot of times when we were doing tasks, it is very, how to say, it is very, I wouldn't say robotic, but it's always kind of focusing on the task, but you're talking about more creativity, more insights, and thinking about like a different perspective to work on things. So just curious to know, is there, um, how can we be more, say, creative and imaginative?
How can we be more imaginative and creative? Uh, I think the short answer is to let yourself imagine and create. Give yourself permission to be imaginative, even if for like 5 minutes at a time. If it's like doodling on paper, like sometimes the creativity follows the action, right? And sometimes we overthink the action, or we think, oh, it has to be this big thing. But what if it's just like 5 minutes of sitting down and doodling something, 5 minutes of letting your imagination run wild? So there are practices, there are many great practices out there to support your creativity and your imagination. I love imagining things. Uh, I'm an in my MBTI personality type. I'm an INFP, so like living in imagination is like my go-to. So sometimes I have to like reel myself back from the imagining and like, okay, let's do things, let's share, let's produce. And then there are some people for whom like doing things, getting things done is like their go-to, and allowing themselves to doodle, imagine, let yourself daydream, right? So that could be their growth edge. So everyone's a little bit different, but something that is super, super quick that can help, I think, spur on a wider perspective, because when we have wider perspective on things, we can also make connections that aren't always linear, right? And I think that is one aspect of creativity and innovation, not just thinking about how do I repeat what we did yesterday, but like what's a broader perspective and what are new connections we haven't yet made. And so with that in mind, there's something so simple. So simple. Anyone can do this. It doesn't require a PhD in neuroscience, but it does leverage your neuroplasticity. And it is to just notice how you're looking. Because so many of us are, I mean, I'm trying to wean myself off my phone as much as possible, right? And what happens when we start scrolling, doom scrolling, right? Our vision gets narrowed. And that's what happens when we're in stress. When cortisol is high, we're in foveal vision. We're like, okay, how do I narrowly focus on something that a part of my brain is interpreting as either a threat or non-threat to my survival, right? That's the brain's rationale, logic. And so your eyes are like focused, right? Narrow focus. And so notice that. And what I like to do is I like to practice just softening and diffusing my focus, putting the phone away. Sometimes I just like throw it to the other end of the room. I'm like, I don't need this right now. And then I just, even if I'm home, right? Like soften my eyes. I'm Asian, so my eyes look a little squinty when I do it. But here's what happens. You end up naturally engaging in peripheral vision, right? Everyone can do this with me right now. Right? Just you can look somewhere and then soften and diffuse your focus, right? And then you notice you're seeing more things in the periphery of your vision. If you wear glasses, you all of a sudden you notice that fuzzy frame in the periphery of your vision, right? And then as you notice it, as you notice it, notice if you can become more aware of other sensory details. Are you all of a sudden also noticing ambient noise? Are you also noticing the feel of fabric on your skin? Are you also noticing your own breath? And then as you do that, imagine your field of awareness extending out beyond the fuzzy frames, beyond the window, beyond the walls, almost as if you can feel the energy of the space behind you. And as you feel that, notice how it feels for you on the inside. For me, whenever I do this, I just notice, oh, I've created a little bit of distance, even if it's like, 3 inches, a bit of distance from all the mind chatter. Yeah, that quiets down. And then when I'm calmer and more grounded, right, I notice, oh, yeah, I can be more nimble. I can be more flexible. I can be more adaptive. I can make connections between things, right? So yeah, let me ask if you followed along what you noticed when you did that peripheral vision. And Eva, if you want to add anything to that great question, let me know.
Sure, I can share. I think I feel like the back of my mind, whatever,
Mhm.
that is a space that I usually do not think about.
Mhm.
So that is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then as you feel the back of your mind, right? You could also wonder just as you feel that, what else could be possible? And just invite yourself to sit with that question, like, what else is possible about this thing or about that other thing that I had been thinking about? Yeah. Cool. Great question. Thank you, Eva. So as we're just hanging out, I want to invite everyone for a moment. We know that experience, that deeply relaxing experience is pretty, recent in your memory. So as it's still fresh, I'm going to invite you to just take a deep breath in. And now press your thumb and forefinger together and notice what you feel and hold it for just 3, 2, 1, and releasing. Notice if you were able to recall and bring back some of that comfort and relaxation. Okay, I see heads nodding. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now this time, I'm going to invite you to just pretend. You don't have to, do anything. Just pretend that you're back in that deeply relaxing experience. That's right. You can let your eyes close if you'd like. And as you just pretend you're back in that deeply relaxing place, experiencing that comfort and relaxation, notice if you can allow yourself to just go a little bit deeper into it for as long or as short as you like. And whenever you're ready, you could just open your eyes and maybe just shake this off. Yeah, yeah, cool. Okay, I see some heads nodding. Yeah. Isn't that cool? I honestly feel like these are some of the skills that we need now more than ever because there are very genuinely upsetting things happening in this world. And how do we not lose our cool? How do we keep on keeping on? Melissa and I talk about this all the time. And I think it is about like, yeah, let's remember what we have right here is a supercomputer, is a super duper computer. Yeah.
What is the significance of pressing our finger and our thumb together? Like, what does that do, or why is that important?
So what you did was what our brains do is it creates connections. It creates associations, right? Every time I see this mug, it says strong and courageous. And I have, through repetition, created an association with this mug and the person who gifted to me. So every time I see it, even for a fraction of a second, I'm thinking about that really wonderful woman who told me I'm strong and courageous. Yeah. And
Sure.
so what we did with the thumb and the forefinger is we just created a neural association with just you, and it's within your control,
Yes.
right? And so you could even think about it. This is my relief button. Yeah. And I had you repeat it 3 times while we were doing it because our brains create new neural networks and it strengthens the new neural networks through repetition. Yeah. And so the more you practice the relief button, and remember, it's you take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just press the relief button and then just feel that relief wash through your body. And 3, 2, 1, and you let go. Yeah. And so all we did was we just leveraged how our brains work to create a new neural association with something that is completely 100% within your control. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Okay, unless anyone else has questions or wants to just uh, share their experience or feedback.
Maybe one more for me, if you don't mind.
Of
So you
course.
mentioned about navigating stressful times and with all the
Yeah.
noise as well. And also you talked about like being narrowly focused a lot of times. We are too stuck on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think my question is about like how do you kind of bring yourself back to the states um that you just created for
It's
us?
about. That was
That's
what,
about
yeah. I wanted to give everyone, this is like this is my virtual freebie, right?
Uh,
Right? But this is an excellent question. And I think it happens at multiple levels, right? Because I mean, just practically, are we taking care of ourselves? Are we, feeding ourselves? Are we moving our bodies? Are we getting some sunlight? Are we connecting with people? Like all the fundamental things that sustain the human ecosystem, right? That's important. That's important. Yeah, that's practical. And then there is, choices that you make. Yeah, choices that you make. I noticed when things happening in Minneapolis was blowing up, like I couldn't stop reading the news. And every time I read, I felt worse, but I felt like I had to keep reading. And then I realized, here's what I can do. I can host an event and I can encourage people to donate to families that are sheltering in place in Minnesota. So you all got the link when you registered. So, even $5 makes a difference. And over a week, I've seen, them raise $100,000. And that gives me hope. That's like, that is really cool. With everything going on, we can still rely on each other. So it's and I think that's the third thing, right? First thing is ecosystem maintenance. Second thing is choice of attention. And the third thing is intentionally taking your attention. Oh, okay, I guess this is the same thing as the second thing, which is let's redirect our attention, right? To where we have agency, what is going well. It's not about bypassing, but it's about like just being grounded in what's real and what can we do and how can we support each other, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's $5, even if it's a moment of relief button, even if it's like, okay, I'm feeling all the emotions and I'm just gonna allow myself to breathe, engage in some peripheral vision, just be still for 90 seconds so that, my brain, my nervous system can process. Yeah. Um, Eva, did that answer your question?
yes, I think so. And I'm like, I similar to you, I always like stare at my phone whenever there are
Yeah.
like negative news. It's like become an
Yeah.
addiction, which is like really bad. So I'm going to
Right.
try the peripheral view and also the relief button. Thank you very much for that. And thanks for hosting this too. This is some really nice that you wanted to like give back to Minnesota.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, everyone is different, but for me, learning new things or, going back to things that have me feeling alive and engaged, that's my way of, you know, um, bringing myself back. And, I was talking to somebody, they're like, of course we have to be anxious, but I'm like, but where's our agency? If we're always stressed out and if we're always burning out, that's what, those That's what they want. We don't want to do that. We don't want to give into that. Yeah. Yeah.
I find it's a struggle between wanting to be informed and not wanting to be burnt out, not wanting to constantly feel anxious and stressed. And so my husband's like, well, stop watching the news. I'm like, I don't want to not be informed. I want to know what's going on, but the news is stressful. And so being selective about sources of news, being selective about quantity of news,
Yeah.
but it's trying to find that balance, which is not always easy.
Right. And that's why when we did that consciously hand raising, you engage
Mhm.
your interoceptive intelligence system. And when you engage in the interoceptive awareness, you can't help but bring yourself to here and now. Right? Because when we read the news and we worry about, what can go wrong, we're either in the past or in the future, and we find ourselves in cognitive binds. And I'm there more often than I like to admit. Yeah. But whenever I recall, oh yeah, remember how cool these tools are. Remember how amazing the human brain is. Remember how cool you can engage in interoceptive intelligence, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm here in this moment, and in this moment is the only moment we can take action. And in this moment, we are safe. Yeah. And this is the moment we have choice. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you, Eva. I appreciate everyone's attention. Um, Thank you for participating. Thank you for donating to families in Minnesota. I have friends in Minnesota, and yeah, I think when we can support each other, even with something so small, right? We add to the goodness, right? We add to something that is vibrant and kind and life-sustaining in this world. Yeah. All right. Unless there's anything else, you're welcome, Melissa. Thank you for sharing your time and your wisdom and your energy with us too. Right back at you. Oh, you're welcome, Shannon. Oh, Lizette, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me at Stevens. And if you want me to come back, just let me know. I'll be there.
Come back.
I'll come back.
Hurry up. We're waiting for you.
Yes.
You
And
guys have no idea how amazing she was at the leadership conference. She was so warm and everyone was like, yeah, and like so encouraged. So I was really happy when you were there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Come back.
yes, I'll be back, and we will be back in March with a self-advocacy framework workshop. So,
Excellent.
so we can blend these amazing brain bending tools with your career uplifting tools.
Wonderful.
Yeah. All
Can't
right.
wait.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.